Another species that calls Ohio home that has experienced recent population declines is the bat. There are 11 bat species that inhabit Ohio, including the Indiana bat and the northern long-eared bat, that are endangered and threatened respectively. One of the primary threats to the survival of all these bats is habitat destruction, as a result of increased urbanization. Though there are lots of forests that bats could venture to, bats prefer to roost in the exact same area they have inhabited before, as it saves a lot of energy to keep returning to a familiar place. When these forests are replaced by buildings, when natural areas are replaced by cities, bats lose their roosting areas. One of the solutions to this problem is the implementation of bat houses on buildings, as this would be a sufficient replacement for the roosts of bats. Another emerging threat that is decimating Ohio bat populations is a disease called white nose syndrome that has its origins in an invasive fungus called Pseudogymnoascus destructans that was first introduced in Ohio in 2011. When the spores of this fungus attach to the wings and nose of bats while they are in caves, this results in frequent disruptions to the necessary practice of hibernation that occurs over the winter. With each time that the bat stirs from hibernation, this depletes the fat reserves that make hibernation possible, until the bat eventually suffers fatality from starvation when these fat reserves are fully depleted. The primary way in which the spores of this fungus reach bats is when humans have interactions with bats. It is the microscopic nature of these spores that allows them to attach to the clothing of people that venture into caves in an undetected fashion to then interact with bats. From here, the disease is capable of wiping out thousands of bats within the span of weeks. When this connection between white nose syndrome and bats and human contact with bats in caves was made, the U.S. Forest Service quickly put a prohibition on exploring caves of Wayne National Forest that, upon violation, would solicit a $5,000 fine. Another great stride was made when the Ohio Bat Conservation Plan was established in 2018. Along with sharing information about the threats bats are facing, various goals in spreading awareness through outreach programs and increasing research and habitat monitoring were outlined. To ensure that initiative is being taken to bring each of these goals to fruition, a committee meets annually to discuss the progress of the plan. Though Ohio is still working to restore bat populations, the development and implementation of this plan is an exemplary model of how action can be taken to protect all endangered species. With how thorough the action plan and goals are in the Ohio Bat Conservation Plan, it's anticipated that there will be thriving bat populations in the very near future.